What up, y'all? I'm watching New Edition movie that came out, and so you're gonna get my reaction like when it goes on break. So hopefully you like my reaction. I also forgot to tell you in the beginning they went to a concert and it was like Bobby Brown and he was singing and everything, and he got into an argument with BBD. And Bobby tried to grab the fire hose and try to, escort him off stage, and it didn't work, and they got into an argument, and that's what happened in the beginning first. So I forgot to tell you that. Just want to include that. Okay, so in the beginning, they show a little bit of your boy Ricky, and he was supposed to go get the cigarettes for his mom. And then, she was saying that she was trying to quit, and he basically asked her if he can go to the talent show. And she was pretty much saying, no, you can't go to the talent show because he's he's one of them type of dudes that, be out there drinking, hanging out with the older boys. And she was like, well, you think you're going to see yourself in 10 years? And then, so in the next scene, they show a little bit about your boy Mike. You know what I'm saying? And Mike was playing basketball with Ricky. Mike was playing basketball. Ricky went to go meet him, and they leave to go to the talent show. So now at this point, they show Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown is supposed to be singing in the talent show, and he just completely bombs. He completely bombs. And then after the talent show, Ricky, Bobby, and Mike, they meet up discussing about them becoming a group. And at that point, you could see Bobby, doing like one of these behind his back, while the rest of them was like, they with it. And the only thing they pretty much ask is as long as they can sing, then they good. So, pros right now, I like the fact that they show a little bit about each character. I do like that. Looks like it's gonna be a good movie. I will tell you my grade at the end of the movie. Okay, so they met up with Ralph, and the girls was jumping rope and trying to convince Ralph to talk to the girl. So the dude that tried to do that, he basically says, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So he goes start singing and trying to show out in front of Ralph, and Ralph starts singing, and then the bell rings. They start listening to music when they got to the apartment. And then eventually they get into an argument. Frida's character convinces them to get a manager. So they meet up with someone to manage them. They start singing in front of the car, and he hears them, and he tells them to meet up with him at 9 a.m. So they meet with him, and he tells them what he expects, and then they start practicing. He puts them and other stuff, like other exercises and stuff, like push-ups and stuff, and says the name of the group. And this is where New Edition came from, and they perform at Roscoe's, and they practice and perform at other different places. Now, my personal grade is an A right now because I'm enjoying it. It's keeping me entertained. It's keeping me entertained, and yeah. So for the ones that did not see New Edition story, I got you. I'm going to write what actually happened. And then the ones that actually seen it, well, you can, anyway. But yeah. So that's what happened so far. And right now, like I said, it's entertaining me, and I'm liking it so far. So I'm giving it an A. Alright, so the manager gives criticism, and they meet at the practice spot talking about random stuff and discuss about one of his partners possibly has a record deal. And they show up at the event, and one of the people got booed off the stage. Dr. Freeze, that's the person's name. And they started praying, and they went to perform. And after they performed, the audience got mad because they didn't agree with the winner. So they sitting there chanting, new audition, new audition, new audition, And of course, they did get the deal. And that's where we stopped. Like I said, the grade is an A right now. They doing their thing. So they go to start recording studio, and the manager tells them don't touch the stuff and discuss what they need. They need a new member. And the manager suggested the nephew named Ronnie. So Ronnie's brother, in the meantime, is sitting there discouraging Ronnie, talking about he can't dance, he can't sing, stuff like that. Mom comes in and tells him stop bothering Ronnie. And, she gives him advice, basically tells him, sorry, that, just remember the steps that, the uncle taught him, and he should be okay. So, now at this point, they get to practice, and they meet Ronnie in the studio, and the studio practice lot. And, so they start doing the steps, and they like what they saw as far as Ronnie, and Ronnie joined the group. And now at this point, so now you got 5 members, and they went to practice in the studio, and they fight over the studio equipment. And then the person that had ran the contest asked one of the members to do the first few verses of Candy Girl. So the doorbell rings, and Payson Love's character Maurice shows up at Ralph's house, talking to him about being a star. And so he offers Ralph his own record label and tells him to think about it. Shows him one of the members. I'm thinking this is Ralph. I believe this is Ralph shown. And it shows one of the members bought a Christmas tree because they couldn't afford to get one. And he basically explains that he saved up his money to go buy a Christmas tree. And then it shows Ralph walking in the snow to call the studio. Ralph says no, he wants all the members of the group to be a part of it. The moms and the members meet up to sign the contracts and ask questions to Maurice about the whole process. And then you can see one of the moms trying to convince her son that it's okay that he wants to play basketball, but you don't know what the music industry gonna lead you, and you should give it a try. So because he was kind of concerned, because he was like, he wanted to play basketball. He loves the group, but he wanted to play basketball, and that's why the mom did that. So eventually they all sign, and you can show them on bikes, and they play Candy Girl. Maurice, they get to a photo shoot, and then Maurice was asked who was the lead singer, and they said Ralph. And the photographer that took the picture of the Candy Girl picture basically moves them around, and some of the group smiled and some of the group did. So they meet up at a concert hall, and you can see people dance, and you can see 2 guys talking about finding somebody to perform for the group. And they discuss why they was played by the person, because the person was like pretty much talking smack, like, oh, they little kids, and all of that. And they find out they was number 1, and they performed Candy Girl. One of the members was trying to holler at the girl, but he got stopped and had to get right back on stage. And then, so after the event, Brooks get confronted by the moms because they haven't seen a dime, they haven't seen no money. They was wondering where the money went, and they felt like that, they should confront him. And basically the only answer he pretty much got out of them was that they have a booking agent, and they need to confront the booking agent and not him. And one of the moms suggests, well, why don't we hire somebody that actually know what they're doing? And after all of the discussion, you could see them going to Miami to perform, and you see them perform to different cities, and they pretty much are going on tour. They pretty much are on tour performing for different cities. And when they get to London, you can see them getting older, and when they come back, they get off the bus. So Brooks and the crew goes back home, and they get off the bus, and Brooks get confronted by the moms. Brooks tells them basically where all the money went and how it's alone, and the moms get into an argument because they didn't like what they heard. And Brooks, he basically explains how he went in his own pocket, and he believes in them, and he's not complaining. So the parents went to the vote. One of the parents basically said, let's take this to a vote, because she didn't like what she heard. They went into a vote, and they basically decided to fire Brooks. And the person the parent of Ronnie basically says that she's gonna take Ronnie out of the group because she believes that was not right on how they did what they did. And so now at this point, Brooks get fired, and they had a meeting with someone named Mr. Evans that could possibly manage the group. And Mr. Evans tells them what he can provide. The group says if their mom was cool with it, then, they with it. So they decide to meet with the label MCA Records, and Mr. Evans explains how the performance should go, and they performed, and they met with their boss, and they get a pass at Universal Studios. So after they got their passes, Mr. Evans meets with the boss and discusses that he wants results with them, and he was not looking for ghetto kids, to perform and all of that. And then Mr. Evans goes to the house where the group was having sex, and they got interrupted because they needed to meet the security, and the security and them, they go back and forth with the insults. And then they go to the studio as one of the members are singing. Some of the members are complaining that, one person is the person that was singing, they was doing all the parts and stuff like that. And eventually they leave, and then they talk about, well, since they've been in the studio all day, how about, if they go get some girls, and, just hang out. So this is the end of part 1. I am watching part 2, and I'm writing part 2 as I am going. So if you like this, if you like part 1 so far, and you like my review, then press like and share, comment, and subscribe. Part 2 will be coming real soon.